Welcome to my weekly webcast. We're in the 5-week session of the Congress between the July 4th break and our summer break, which takes place August the 8th. The summer break will be through Labor Day, and we'll come back until Christmas. I'm on another week of explaining to you, I think for the 5th week in a row, how a bill becomes a law. Last week I spoke about Senate consideration of that piece of legislation. This week I want to go through the amending process. The amending process is not much different from the process by which a bill is handled on the floor, debated. Each amendment that's offered can be debated. There's no time limit on amending process. Each amendment can take as long as people want to do it, unless there is, like on a bill, unanimous consent of a time agreement, or 3/5 vote of the United States Senate to limit debate on an amendment or on a bill. Amendments can be offered by anybody. Amendments can be what we call germane, in other words, very much focused on the subject matter of a bill, or they can be non-germane amendments. And that's why the Senate amending process and consideration of a bill can take so long, because unlike the House, there are no rules on germaneness. A non-germane amendment can be offered. In other words, you can offer a cow amendment to a pig bill if you want to be funny about it. The process of non-germane amendments is only restricted once the Senate, by a 60-vote supermajority, has decided that we're going to bring debate on an amendment to a bill. If there are non-germane amendments pending at that point of getting 60 votes, then the non-germane amendments cannot be brought up for consideration. Amendments that are first degree apply to any changes in the bill. A second degree amendment to an amendment is a change to the original first degree amendment. You can have substitute amendments, which would be a substitute for the entire amendment. Or in some cases you can have a substitute bill that would be an amendment to the entire language of the original bill that was reported out. The amending process is something that takes a long time, depending on how many amendments, how controversial the bill is, and whether the amending process is being used to slow up the process or not. All of these things are consideration that can apply to any bill, but obviously they don't apply to every bill. This week in the United States Senate, we're probably going to spend all week and maybe sometime the following week on the Armed Services Authorization Bill. This is an annual bill before the United States Senate, and it's not a simple bill. It authorizes programs for the next year for our national security. Also this week, I'll be spending most of my time, at least Monday through Thursday, most of my time will be spent in the Judiciary Committee considering the nomination of Judge Sotomayor to the Supreme Court. I'm a senior member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. I've been involved in the nomination process of every member presently on the Supreme Court, except Justice Stevens, who was there before I got to the United States Senate. And I've also been involved with 2 people that are no longer on the Supreme Court, Sandra Day O'Connor and Chief Justice Rehnquist, in the consideration of their nomination. This is a very important role that the Senate plays once in the lifetime of a Justice of the Supreme Court. Since it's a lifetime appointment, it's our job to make sure that this nomination is given due consideration. At the end of the week, after the questioning's all done, or maybe a little bit later, depending on how long it takes to go through the entire record, because there will be over almost 20 members asking questions of this judge about her qualifications to be on the Supreme Court, how she views the law, how she views the Constitution, whether she's a judicial activist, whether she wants to interpret law, which is my job, or whether she wants to make law, which is my job as a legislator, or whether she wants to stick to the role of a judge, which is to interpret law and the Constitution. These are all very, very important considerations, because once you get on the Supreme Court, you can only be removed by impeachment, and that's hardly ever done. So consequently, it's a very important week in the United States Senate. Look forward to being with you in my next webcast. And bottom line is, I hope you'll continue to send in your email questions for a response from me. Thank you very much.